Sairam, everyone. Just to recollect what we were discussing last week before we proceed. Swami is talking about how we can achieve the goal of life, the goal of removing sorrow and grief which afflict us. And he says all that which we suffer from is because of our identification with the body. And that is caused by ignorance of who we are. And he says that ignorance to be removed, the knowledge has to come, which is jnana, that we are not the body but the Atman. And then, Arjuna, and then Krishna says, if that doesn't happen, then you cannot come to me. So Arjuna is worried about it. And then I think Arjuna was asking the Lord, there were so many paths you were describing, and now you are saying none of this will lead us to the goal. So you need to explain and elaborate. And I think that's where we were. I think there were 4 paragraphs which we had discussed, 3 paragraphs of what we discussed last time. So I think we'll continue from where we left off. Sairam, Sister Kalyan. So 3 paragraphs.
Listen, Arjuna, Krishna condescended to reply. The source of all types of sorrow is ignorance, ajnana. You might ask me now, what is the source of ajnana? I shall tell you. It is the identification with the body, the delusion that you are the body. This can be removed only by the acquisition of right knowledge. To remove darkness, light is what is needed. You cannot frighten it away, nor can you make it yield by prayer or petition or protest. Unless light is on, darkness will not disappear, howsoever you may try. So too, ajnana will not disappear by merely wishing for disappearance to happen. Once you understand the nature and ramifications of this trait, this ajnana, the truth will be laid bare and grief will vanish. When ajnana goes, grief too goes. So attach yourself to me and earn the light of true knowledge and tread the path of no grief, said Krishna. Immediately, Arjuna interjected. Krishna, you were saying till now of certain paths by which we can reach you. Now, at the end of it all, you throw this cannonball. How can I ever grasp its meaning? You did not even confer as a preliminary a little power to do so. Please, therefore, make me happy by describing this point in greater detail, so that I might follow you better and attain you. Krishna replied, My dear brother-in-law, listen. My mystery can be understood once you are clear about the meaning of Brahman, Adhyatman, the Paramatma, Adhibhutam, the supreme in the physical, Adhidaivam, the supreme among gods, and Adhiyajnam, the presiding deity of sacrifices. Let me tell you this also. Whoever understands my mystery attains me.
Thank you very much, Kalyani. So Swami has introduced 4 concepts, I think, which Swami says we should understand before we can understand who the Lord is. That in the previous 3 paragraphs we have already discussed. So Adhyatman, Adibhutam, Adhidaivam. Adhyat.
And karma also. Karma. Adhyatman, karma, adibhutam.
Okay, karma also.
Adhyagnam.
Yes, Auntie, it's written as Adhyatmam here, Is an Adhyatmam in
Ila
Telugu?
Adida.
Adida,
The
that's
first
right.
one Adhyatman, but the second is Adi Yagna. There
Okay.
is no A there.
Okay, so that's
Adibhutam also there is no A.
okay.
Only the first one Adhyatman.
Adhyatmam. Okay, so that's
That's Adi Adhyatman. It is
yes,
it must
yes.
only.
Thank you, Auntie. So I will open it up for discussion. Actually, Swami is going on to explain each of these concepts a little later. Arjuna is asking, so I will just open it up for discussion if anyone has something to say. Otherwise, we can. I think it may be better to read the next paragraphs, Kalyani, because
So that we can
understand this better, I think.
better.
Then, O Lord, tell me about the first of these, Brahman, exclaimed Arjuna. Arjuna, Aksharam Brahma Paramam. Brahman is referred to as the Akshara, which is Param. Akshara means without kshara or destruction, indestructible. Brahman comes from a root, which means big, vast, etc. How vast, you may ask? Vaster than whatever you call vast. That is the answer. The word akshara has another meaning also. It means omnipresent, immanent everywhere. Brahman is not mere aksharam, as you will have noticed. It is param aksharam. What does that mean? It is that type of akshara which is beyond the reach of time and space and knowability. It cannot be known by any or all the categories. It never declines or ends. It is param aksharam, the highest, indestructible, indescribable.
Thank you. So Swami has explained the first concept, Brahman. I don't know whether we want to read the Telugu, I guess, Auntie. It may be good, I guess.
Okay, no problem. మొదటిది బ్రహ్మం గురించి తెలుసు స్వామి. అర్జున, అక్షరం బ్రహ్మపరం, పరమైన అక్షరమే బ్రహ్మము. అక్షరం అంటే నాశనము కానటువంటిది. ఇట్స్ ఇంపెరిషబుల్. బ్రహ్మమనగా పెద్దది అని కూడా అర్థం. వాస్ట్ అండ్ బిగ్, హ్యూజ్ అనగా ఎంత పెద్దదని ప్రశ్న పుట్టునేమో. యు మే ఆస్క్ దిస్ క్వశ్చన్, హౌ బిగ్ ఇట్ ఈస్. ఎంత పెద్దదనుకున్నా దానికంటే పెద్దది. వాట్ ఎవర్ యు థింక్ ఇస్ బిగ్ is much bigger than that. అక్షరం అంటే మరొక అర్థము కూడా కలదు. అనదర్ మీనింగ్ ఫర్ అక్షరం. దానిని సర్వవ్యాపకమని కూడా అందరు. ఇట్స్ ఆల్ పర్వేడింగ్. బ్రహ్మనగా కేవలము అక్షరమే కాదు, పరమైన అక్షరము. దట్స్ హియర్. కేవల అక్షరం మీన్స్ ఇట్స్ నాట్ ఓన్లీ ఇంపెరిషబుల్, ఇట్ ఈస్ పరమైన అక్షరం, సుప్రీం. దేశకాల జ్ఞానములతోనూ మరే విధమైన సాధనలతోనూ తెలియని, ఏమి చేసినను నశించక కృషించక ఉండి నాశనము కానిదే అక్షరము. దట్స్ లాస్ట్ వన్. దేశకాల జ్ఞానం, ఇట్స్ బియాండ్ టైమ్, స్పేస్ అండ్ knowability. It cannot be known by any of these categories. That is, ఏమి చేసినను నశించక, it will not be indestructible. It can be కృషించక. కృషించేదంటే it becomes smaller, కృషి ఉండి నాశనము కానిదే అక్షరము. Here Swami is talking about Akshara Parabrahma, that 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Akshara Parabrahma yoga is there. So Swami is referring Brahman as Akshara, imperishable Brahman. There's a supreme Brahman which cannot be understood by Desha Kala or any other means. Only you know it, that it is highest and indestructible and indescribable. Sir.
Thank you, Auntie. Thank you.
What is this line meaning? Telugu mare vidamaina sadhanalu toni.
Mare vidamaina sadhanato. By any other means, you cannot know. By any other means,
you cannot know Brahman.
Yeah.
Yes.
You cannot know Brahman.
So when it's saying sadhana, is it referring to like spiritual practice?
Yeah, you can even say that also, spiritual practice also. I think, Auntie, what do you think? Because, even people who are spiritually elevated can never understand Brahman. That's the reality. The story of Shiva and Vishnu and Brahma trying to search the end of the light which, was seen in front of them, means they also could not see the end. So that means it is beyond the reach of anyone, however elevated spiritually they are.
Yeah, yato vacho pravartante aprapya manasasaha. That quotation from the Upanishad, I think. Yes. It describes this Brahman. Yeah. Basically, what we can infer from this paragraph is Brahman is imperishable and it is vast. And no other method can be applied to find out who Brahman is, what Brahman is. It's omnipresent, it's everywhere, it's present everywhere, immanent. Not only omnipresent, it's immanent also.
So, and that sentence, so is Swami saying that there is one way to know Brahman? Because it's saying by any other means you cannot know Brahman. Or is he saying by all, there's no way to know Brahman?
Simply know that
it's unknowable.
It's unknowable. That's what
completely unknowable. That's what I think it is.
Sai Ram, I have a question. If it's Brahman is omnipresent, that means it's in all creation?
Yes, of course. That is it. It's present
in every creation of God.
Every creation. Ksharam and Aksharam, both it is present.
Both. Okay.
Perishable things as well as imperishable things, it is present.
I think Kalyani's question is, if Krishna is saying that if you don't know these things, you will not understand me.
Yeah.
So if Brahma, the first itself, we are it's a stumbling block. Means when, how? I think. Is that so, Kalyani?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Just Swami says, Paramaina Aksharame Brahmamu, Aksharamante Nashanamu Kanati Vantadi, which is imperishable. Know that it's imperishable. That's how we can know. It's not tangible, it's not graspable. You cannot know from your mind, you cannot know it from your intellect. Such a thing exists, but it all pervades the whole universe.
So just know that it is unknowable.
Unknowable, that's what he's saying, It's beyond the reach of time, space, and knowability.
I think I think Swami is explaining further also that one. Because I think it's anyway. See, for example, if we cannot know the ocean, the ocean is so vast, we cannot know. We can't never fathom what is inside, what's deep within. Nothing can be known. But the only thing which we can do with our limited is to experience the ocean to the extent possible, and know that it is so vast that I cannot really. So I think it is just that itself is knowledge. Knowing that it cannot be comprehended, I think is good enough. But we can experience it to a minimal, small extent.
Yeah.
And I think those two, I think really Swami is trying to drive home.
Sai Ram, I need a little bit more clarification. If Brahman is present in all creation, that means it's along with the Jiva as another entity in the creations.
It is the conscious principle which illumines the body. Illumines the body, mind, and intellect, and all the other things which exist in, which is manifested in the universe. It is the underlying principle which is changeless and it's imperishable.
So it is consciousness, right?
Yeah, it's conscious. Call it consciousness or self.
That's a consciousness of the Jiva or?
Jiva, everywhere. Not only Jiva. It is a consciousness which illumines all the things which are manifested in the universe.
Auntie, the question is like this, if you would take the ocean,
Yeah.
there's a plant in the ocean. So we can ask, is the ocean present in the plant? Okay,
Yeah.
so everything is in the ocean. And the reality is the plant, even if it has a form, even that form was derived only from the ocean. Because taking what is in the ocean only, the plant itself has grown.
Survives.
So every cell of that plant also is made up of ocean. Without the ocean, the plant cannot survive. And one day the plant will die and it will merge in the ocean. So I think that's the way even the Jivatma is.
Thank you. That's a good explanation.
So
That's wonderful.
so
Because Swami saying another meaning of the word aksharam is sarvavyap.
Sarvavyapakam. Yeah. It pervades the whole. Or you can say omnipresent.
So I think two things. One is it's indestructible, and the second one is it's everywhere.
Everywhere.
I think we can read the next paragraph. If no one has something to say, we can read the next paragraph also because it is still continuing to talk about.
The goal of humanity is to attain that Brahman. Aksharam and Brahman signify the same goal. They indicate the saguna, with form, and the nirguna, formless, aspects of the same truth. For akshara means also a letter, the pranava, Om, which is a symbol of Brahman. That is why it is called Akshara Parabrahma Yoga, the eternal, changeless, supreme yoga. Brahman has two adjectives, Paramam and Aksharam. Akshara indicates the pranava as well as Maya. Maya too is subsumed by pranava. These two are attributeful, qualified, sa-vishesha. Brahman, however, is nirvishesha, qualificationless, attributeless, pure in its own right. He who understands this attains me. Now for a second point. It is Brahman that dwells in every body in the form of I. In fact, every body hangs around this entity called I. In the body, each part and organ in the organization performs one chief task. Each sense contacts and informs about one particular set of impressions from the outer world. But though related to the senses, there is a shining, an eye shining in the body, above and behind all of them. If that relationship is broken, everything becomes inert material.
Thank you, sister. I think just a couple of points which you noticed. The Indian Swami, they have translated Saguna as with form and Nirguna as formless. Actually, Saguna means without any qualities, with qualities. Nirguna is without qualities.
Attributeless.
Attributeless. So,
and Swami is giving another meaning for Akshara. Akshara means letter, especially Om. It represents Om. So, Brahman has two adjectives, there's Paramam and Aksharam. What does that mean? Maya too is subsumed by Pranava?
Telugulo, but how does it work? Why don't we just take? Because sometimes the translation, may not do that greater justice.
And the particular sentence, what Swami is saying is, Akshara Parabrahma Yogam ani kudnu pilturu, Brahmamunaku Paramamu Aksharamu ani rendu visheshanamulu kaluvu. Aksharamanu mataku Pranavamaniyu Maya aniyu artham cheppachunu. Aksharamani cheppebadi Maya kuda Pranavaniki shrestamaina vastuve. That subsumed by Pranava, he says, What is that? Aksharamani cheppabade Maya kuda Pranavaniki shrestamaina vastuve.
So it's even beyond. So it basically contains within it the Pranava itself. I think Swami is equating Akshara and Maya as the same.
Yes, same.
And then he says they subsume they encompass even Pranava, and they are much beyond that. Because he's used the word Shrestha, that means it's above or greater.
Maya kuda Pranavaniki shrestamaina vastuve.
Yes.
Sorry, which one is greater?
Pardon?
Maya is greater?
Yes.
That's what it means here.
Yeah.
Greater than Pranava.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why Maya too is subsumed by Pranava, they have said, but it's the other way around in the Telugu.
Maya kuda Pranavaniki shrestamaina vastuve. That's what it's.
So Maya is greater than even the Pranava.
Can we do this whole paragraph in Telugu?
Okay, bit. I'm reading from that.
Beginning, Auntie.
Atti sthiramaina brahmamunu pondate manava jatiki laksham. That is to attain Brahman is the goal of humanity.
Attain Brahman, which is sthiram, which is steady or which is
steady,
which is permanent.
Stable Brahman. Aksharamaniyu, Brahmamaniyu, rendu padamulagu, shabdamuluga gocharincinanu, avi rendu okate.
So Swami said Aksharam and Brahman are the same, even though these are two different words.
Two different words. Avi Brahmamu yokka saguna nirgunamulanu suchinchunu.
They demonstrate or depict both the quality, attributeful and attributeless aspects of the Brahman.
Akshara shabdamu Brahma vachakamagu omkaramunu telupunu.
So it reveals Omkara.
Sorry, is it saying the Akshara reveals Omkara?
Yes. Akshara reveals, Telupunu means shows or reveals Pranava Om.
Anduvalane దీనిని అక్షర పరబ్రహ్మ యోగమని కూడా పిలుతురు.
So Swami is giving the title of that chapter, Bhagavad Gita chapter. That is why it is called Akshara Para Brahma Yoga.
బ్రహ్మమునకు పరమము అక్షరము అని రెండు విశేషణములు కలువు.
So there are two visheshana means qualifications or adjectives. Okay, for Brahma has two adjectives, which is Akshara and Parama.
Paramam,
which is supreme, and the other one is Aksharam, without any destruction.
అక్షరమను మాటకు ప్రణవమనియు మాయానియు అర్థము వచ్చును.
There are two meanings for the word Akshara. One is Pranava, the other one is Maya.
అక్షరమని చెప్పబడే మాయ కూడా ప్రణవానికి శ్రేష్టమైన వస్తువే.
So the Maya, which is part of Akshara, is called Akshara, is greater than Pranava also.
ఇవి సవిశేషము. ఇట్టి బ్రహ్మమును తెలుసుకున్నవాడే నన్ను పొందును బావా.
So that is translated as these two are attributeful, qualified, Savishesha.
Savivesha Brahman. So these two attributes are the qualifications of Savivesha Brahman. However, Savivesha Brahman qualification less. So Swami is here. Savivesha is translated as attributeful. Sa Vishesha. Nirvishesha.
So that last line in English is not there, right? Where in English it's saying that Brahman, however, is Nirvishesha.
In Telugu, only one sentence Swami says. Ivi savisheshamu, he says, that's all.
And what does that last line mean? Itti Brahmanu?
Itti Brahmanu, such Brahman. Such Brahman, telusukunnavadu. The one who knows such Brahman, he will attain me.
Oh.
Saramana?
Yes, Sairam, Sai Centres.
Yeah, just a doubt. Initially, Swami says Aksharam and Brahman are equivalent, right? In the initial thing, I'm just trying to understand, because when it is said that means Sreshta Maina Vastuve, Sreshta, does it mean superior or does it mean significant? Because it is finally saying Vastuve, meaning it becomes an object. And so I just wanted to understand the meaning of that sentence, because we are saying in this context that Maya is the superset and Pranava becomes a subset of that. Would it mean otherwise? Because initially Akshara is equated to Brahman and Akshara is equated to Pranava as well. So in that light, I wanted to understand Sreshta Maina Vastu.
Yeah,
I think Maya too is subsumed by Pranava. What does that mean, that sentence?
Because I think they are translating the Shrestha with that translation.
But Maya cannot be superior to Pranava. I feel
that was what I was also feeling, because
Maya
Pranava, Pranava, Akshara, Brahman, all of that are synonymous. So how will Maya become superset of Pranava? That was what I was. That's why the Sreshta Maina Vastuve, how would it read other than just being superior? Would it mean significant or some other equivalent of the word Sreshta Maina?
Brother.
Yeah.
So Akshara, so Swami saying here, saying, I'm looking at a different view, brother. Akshara mean that it could be Maya and Pranava. But even though Swami saying Nirkun and Sarkun is coming under Maya, but Pranava is coming under Nirkun. So Nirkun is the pure. But when you understand that one, Maya is, even though it is coming under Pranava, or it's a because God is everywhere. It could be Maya, it could be whatever you have seen, but that Pranava is pure, attributeless. So that is, if you can understand that one, who can understand that one, that attains me. Thank you, Brother Sairam.
When this sentence is read, these two are attributeful. Recording in progress.
Hello.
Oh, Sairam.
Oh, I see. Hi. Everyone was, so I thought I was because my one computer was giving me problems, so I have switched. Very sorry.
Okay. That's
I don't know whether I missed. I think I heard Brother Das, and after that, no one has spoken. I guess no. So just to my understanding is, I think we are worried that how can Maya be greater than Pranava? That's where my understanding is. See, Pranava is sound itself is part of Akasha when the Akasha comes into being. But before the Akasha itself comes into being,
Prakriti.
Before that, the Purusha and Prakriti were already there. The Prakriti is part of the Brahman itself. It's the Maya is nothing but the vesture of the Lord.
Yeah.
But when the creation takes place, it becomes attributeful. Savivesh. I think that's why Swami is using the word Savishesha, because at that point in time, it has taken on attribute and has become the created being. The Maya is actually transcends even the creation, because it stays with the Lord. It is part of Lord's Shakti. That's why Mahamaya is considered also Brahman. So I think though Pranava is what we can see, or we can at least relate to, because it is part of creation itself, or it's the first step of creation. I think that may be a reason where Swami say that's why Maya is Shreshta to Pranava is my understanding. Because in creation, everything is attributeful. But Maya is also attributeful, but it's attributeless also because it is part of Brahman. It's the first, if you want to get too technical, I think that's the way I understand, but I may be. But Swami is calling both Maya and Pranava as attributeful and qualified.
So here, when the sentence says these two are attributeful, qualified, Savivesha, Brahman.
I think I think they have translated Savivesha as Savishesha as attributeful and qualified.
Yeah.
So that means with Vishesha.
With Maya.
Yeah. So I think there's, it's, see, Swami has already introduced Saguna and Nirguna.
Yeah.
So he's saying Maya and Pranava both fall under the category of attributeful. Saguna is what I sort of understand.
Savishesha.
That's why Swami says Brahman, however, is Nirvisesha. That is,
he is
qualification plus, attributeless, pure in its own right. So he's saying the first one is the Maya itself is part of the Lord, which is the form Saguna port, and Pranava comes from that. Is the way I understand. Maybe I am not.
When the creation took place, with the help of Maya, only Ishvara creates the.
Yes.
So that becomes then Savishesha. That
because I think if you go back to Sandhya Nivana, Swami said there was one. Before it was unmanifest.
Yeah.
When it becomes manifest, it becomes one. Then from the one, it becomes two, Purusha and Prakriti. Then it takes on gunas, and this entire creation takes place. The three gunas come into being. So even if you say Pranava itself is actually, it's all about creation, maintenance, and then dissolution, and then it goes back to its stage of Niraguna, which is the fourth one, Turiya or whatever, because all those qualities are part of Pranava. It's the way I understand.
Pranava is synonymous with Brahman when he says, which is symbol of Brahman, he says, no? Pranava Om,
yes.
Which is symbol of Brahman.
Yes.
So there is no actually difference between Pranava and Brahman. When you say Brahmavachika, it's called, Pranava is called Brahmavachika.
See, I think once it is symbol, it is only a symbol, I think, the way, so that we can recognize Brahman. Oh. Okay. It's like if we have a statue of Shiva or Lingam, which represents Shiva, that's a symbol.
Yeah.
But Shiva is only symbolized by that. It just points us in that direction. But that by itself may not be the full thing. The Shiva Lingam which we worship represents Shiva, which is symbol of Shiva.
Yeah.
But Shiva is much far beyond that Lingam which we worship. So I think it's similar thing may be attributed to Om also. When we say Om, which is Pranava, that is basically symbolizes the Lord, but he is beyond. That's why I think last sentence Swami is saying the Lord is actually Nirvisesha, attributeless, Gunatita and all that. So, but just they are aids for us to sort of recognize the Brahman. So that is why even though they represent the Brahman, they are little less than the Brahman itself. Because Brahman is Shrestha. And I think in this case, Swami has said Maya itself is Shrestha. That's the way I understand it.
So that sentence, Akshara Shabdamu Brahma, so Akshara, then Shabdamu means the sound?
Sound, of course.
Sound, and then it's the symbol of Brahman? That's what the next word means? Brahma Vacha Kamagu.
Brahma Vacha. It's Omkaramunu Telpunu. Akshara Shabdamu. Akshara here, what he means is Om. It's letter. Letter Om is Akshara. So we have got the alphabets, they are also called Akshara. Here Om is taken as an Akshara. It's a
so Swami saying the letter Om symbolizes Brahman. Okay, because I had written Akshara reveals Omkara. Is that
Telupunu, Swami has used the word. Aren't it Telupunu?
Omkaramunu Telupunu. Akshara Shabdamu Brahmavachakamugu Omkaramunu Telupunu.
So the Aksharam reveals, and Telupunu means informs you, Telupunu informs.
It tells you, or
it tells you.
So here is Aksharam referring to Maya? Or is he referring to the letter Om or something?
So Swami is calling Akshara is Brahman itself. Swami has called the real Akshara as Brahman. But this Akshara also symbolizes, one of the things which it reveals is Om.
Okay.
Okay.
So, yeah. So sorry. So the first sentence, Swami saying Aksharam and Brahman are the same.
Same.
And
Yeah.
then, so Swami is saying also that Aksharam can also be called Maya and Pranava, right? In another sentence?
Yeah, in another sentence it says.
And then Swami says Maya is greater than Pranava.
Yeah.
So, so Aksharam can mean either Brahman, or it can mean Maya, or it can mean Pranava in different contexts.
Yes, this I think, see, the way to understand is these are all words which allow us to understand the concept. And see, the Swami says, Aksharamanyu, Brahmamanyu, rendu padamuluga, shabdamuluga, gocharinchanu. Even though they are, that's the second sentence. Aksharam and Brahman signify the same thing. Okay, that's two words.
Anna, just a thought here. So we usually have Akshara Abhyasam, and for Akshara Abhyasam, like we know, like so many times we have seen devotees taking this slate to Bhagawan, and Swami would write Om on that slate.
Yeah.
So at a very tangible, in a very tangible sense, Akshara Abhyasam is something that is more grosser because it is tangible. You are now able to write the Om, and so in its subtleness compared to Maya, Pranava becomes more gross than subtle.
Yes.
So from that point of view, since it is more grosser than Maya becomes the superset, and
yes,
Pranava is a subset of that. I think that way you can explain, because you can write Om, you cannot write Maya. Maya is not something that is as gross as can be written.
Yes.
It is only perceived. And so if it is perceived, it is subtler. And in that aspect, it becomes a superset, or it contains the thing because it is less
subtle.
Yeah.
Subtler
So yes, Randy. So it will be like the Brahman, Maya, and then Om. But through that Om, we are, like Anna was mentioning, or you were also saying, Andy, that in terms of perceiving the Godhead, we are able to perceive the Godhead through Om. But in terms of how it is, Om becomes more grosser, and then Maya comes being more subtler, and the subtlest being the absolute Parabrahman, which cannot be cognized, or which is not tangible, but only can be experienced in the highest sense.
Yeah, there are different levels of Maya. See, for example, a child is taught apple. So it writes the word apple and it pronounced the word apple. Apple indicates apple, the fruit. But then the fruit has another form. That fruit is actually bigger than the word apple. Okay. But is the fruit what we see apple? No, it is much more than that. There's something inside the apple itself which can only be experienced. And then you can go and say, oh, there is divinity within that apple also. So, it's layers and layers. But the thing is, the word apple is sound. It indicates apple. But it does not become apple itself, because it is just a sound apple. But then we have apple. That itself has a, skin and peel and everything. Is that apple? No. You have to go inside. That the layer is like Maya. Is it part of apple? Yes, it is part of apple. Then that is Saguna, Then you go inside and then you look at the apple. Then you eat it and everything dissolves. It doesn't have any form, no name, nothing.
Then becomes Nirguna,
Nirakara. So it is, but are they all related? Yes.
Yes.
They're all related, but one is slightly, it'll take us closer to the experience itself. That's the way I understand. Yeah. Okay. I think Sai Satish, I think you have also said the same thing.
So, can we say here then Aksharam refers to like Apara Prakriti and Brahman is the Para Prakriti?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so why is Maya called Aksharam? Just like as indestructible or all-pervading?
Maya will exist as long as Brahman is around. Because it is part of the Lord himself. The Lord, the external manifestation of the Lord is Maya. When he becomes from Avyakta, once he becomes Vyakta, manifest, Maya is already present. That is Maya.
But then when he goes back into unmanifest, then
he's completely, there's Nirvishesha, Nirvikara, Nirguna, pure. It's all beyond that.
But in that Avyakta state, the Maya is gone, isn't it? Or is it still there?
It's still there. Because it can never be lost.
No, Arun. Maya has a beginning, but it has an end. Maya has no beginning, but it has an end.
Exactly.
And when your knowledge comes to you, then Maya disappears. Maya will not be there. Maya has no beginning, but it ends. That's how it is explained.
Yes, that's. I think we already discussed that. So I think the thing is, our understanding, our experience of Maya will be different. Because at that point, we'll experience that also as the Lord. Because it is in creation, nothing I think is never lost. It just dissolves into something else.
As long as creation exists, it will be there.
It will exist.
When
but creation is always anantam.
Anantam, it dissolutes. When dissolution takes place, it will also disappear. Maya will also go away.
Yes, because we will not see that as existing at that point in time. So I think, the concept of this linear coming to an end is understanding of time and space.
Yeah, time and space.
We think it comes to an end. But, both the Adi, Ananta. Because our understanding of that will go away. See, I think that's the rope and thread, the rope and snake thing. The thinking that it is a snake, that
is
thought,
Maya.
That is
Maya.
But still we will see it similar to the snake, but we will not think it is snake.
No, when you realize that it's only a rope.
Yes.
You realize that it's only a rope, the Maya goes then.
Yes, so we will not think it's a snake.
Yeah.
But it may seem like snake. Still, in the, we will know we will know it looks like snake, but it is not snake, it's rope.
Yeah. The wise man knows that it is not a snake.
So it is like, a Jnani also will eat food. But he will not say it is Maya. He will eat the food as, this is also Brahman. Brahman is eating Brahman. Brahmarpanam Brahma. So he's seeing Agnav, but it's Brahma Agnav. It is Brahmana, so he sees everything as Brahman. It's Brahman rope appearing on the Brahman snake, on the seen by the Brahman. So the experience is slightly different because the experience is all Brahman at that point in time. So the concept of Maya, the way we are, it doesn't exist.
Now the second paragraph reads about Adhyatma.
Yes. Auntie, the Mahaprabhu, we are talking about dissolution, even Pralaya, he will say there is water everywhere.
Yeah.
And there is Krishna floating on that leaf as a baby. That's the way they say, because the water is still around.
So that sentence, Akshara Shabdamu, that one, so it's saying that the sound of Akshara reveals Omkara, which is the symbol of Brahman? Is that?
Telupunu means when you cannot see, if something shows you that, telupu means it
Shows.
that's why the word I use the word reveal. For you to be able to experience it, something has to, reveal itself. Telupu.
And so what is it, the sound of akshara? So what does the akshara shabda mean? It's like the sound of akshara reveals it?
Sound.
Oh.
Padamu, shabdamu. I think Swami has, Auntie, that's what Swami has done, no?
Akshara shabdamu, Brahmavachikamagu, Omkaramunu Telugu.
Earlier on, Auntie. Before that.
Oh. Brahmamu yokka saguna nirgunamulanu సూచించును. అదే బ్రహ్మమును పొందటే మానవ జాతికి లక్ష్యం.
No, second line, అట్టి స్థిరమైన బ్రహ్మమును పొందుటే మానవ జాతికి లక్ష్యం.
అక్షరమనియు బ్రహ్మమనియు రెండు పదములుగా శబ్దములుగా గోచరించినను. They are just like two words. పదము శబ్దములుగా గోచరించను, అవి రెండు ఒకటే.
So that's where he's saying there are two words, two
sounds also.
Sounds.
Two sounds, two words. రెండు పదములుగా శబ్దములుగా.
So there also Swami is talking about that. Then later on, which is what Auntie read, Brahma Vachagamu, then he said Akshara Shabdamu. The sound of Akshara.
Akshara is Brahma Vachagamu.
Oh. So there is sound. See, sound itself is attribute.
Sound is attribute.
Because it comes when Akasha is present, only the sound can come into being.
The first manifestation of the Panchabhutas. Yes, Akasha first comes, then Shabda is formed then.
So that is the first creation, the Big Bang, as they would call it here.
Just adding to that, I think every time we get bound by things like creation, sustenance, and destruction, and so on, but actually it is just a continuum. It is, we are giving it labels of coming, staying, and going, but what is coming, what is staying, and what is going, kind of a thing. So in that context, I think the words like manifest or unmanifest is defined by the boundaries of the existence of the mind. If that goes away, then what is manifest, what is unmanifest? So I think,
because we think actually if somebody died, so we think we have lost the person. But in the grand scheme of things, the Atman is still around. The elements which form the body also still around. They're just going back to the original state.
Going to a clothes shopping center for another wear.
Recycling. It's all recycling.
Yeah.
The 5 bhutas get recycled. The water gets recycled. The air gets recycled. The fire gets recycled. Yeah. Yes, Brother Tasan.
Yes, Sairam, brother. So here, the Swami trying to explain the Brahman, even though you see the Maya, but inside the Maya also is a divinity. We have to see this all part of the divinity Maya. So within the Maya, the Brahman is the one activating everything. If the Brahman is not there, it's nothing going to be done. Even if we take us, all the 5 senses or anything or mind or everything's working because of the Brahman inside. If the Brahman goes out, everything's gone. That's what Swami says. He is within me, around me, above me. So one who understand that one, that's what understand this attain me. Thank you, Sai Rambal.
That's why, I think there's one Padyam of Swami song. Swami says there is no door from where you can go somewhere. Auntie, there was that Padyam which we read, I'm knocking, open the door, Talupulu.
That song you mean?
Yes, yes.
Prema Veshanato.
No. It is.
No. Tiyamante Telupu.
Tiyamante Telupu. In the last sentence, Swami says,
వేయబోయని తలపు తీయమంటూ తెలుపు బాబకెన్నడో ఎందుకు నవ్వు గొలుపు.
Yes. Then the last one, he says, there is nowhere to go. The door doesn't open anywhere and there's nowhere to go, because that's Brahman doesn't have from where you can go out somewhere else.
Door is not shut. Door is open there, and that's what he was. Veya bovani talapu. You cannot shut the door. Tiyamantu pilupu. You are asking me to open it. How can I open it? The door is open.
There's no.
So the next sentence where Swami is saying, that is why it is called Akshara Parabrahma Yoga. So is he referring to Akshara reveals Omkara, and that is why it is called Akshara Parabrahma Yoga?
The 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita is called Akshara Parabrahma Yoga. You know that, no? Mm-hmm. So here, Brahman is imperishable and he is beyond. To indicate that, Krishna is saying that I am that. Understand that principle, which graces all bodies as their essential self. Know that. That's what Krishna is explaining to Arjuna.
Sairam. Sai Satish was explaining something. I couldn't grasp it. I couldn't grasp the meaning. Can you please explain it to me?
Sai Satishan.
Yeah, Sairamandi. So is this about what we are discussing about creation, sustenance, and destruction? Is that what you're asking about?
Yeah.
So yes, Auntie. So I was just saying that when we take like Omkara itself, we say A, U, and Ma. So that A comes from Brahma, U comes from Vishnu, and Ma comes from Maheshwara. So we call Pranava itself like indication of creation, sustenance or dissolution, all of that. But all of that is once again at the ken and understanding of the mind. At the mind level, we say that something is born, something lives, and something dies. But at the level of the Atman, it is like dressing up in layers during the winter time. It is the Atman which has no birth, wears something, and so we call it as birth. The Atman lives its life wearing that something which we call the body, so it is called as living. And when the Atman decides to drop that and go away, we call it as dissolution or death. But all of that we are perceiving at the level of the mind, because till now I have not perceived the Atman in reality. I'm always talking about birth, sustenance, and death more from the understanding of the mind. But if I go beyond the realm of the mind and look at it from the realm of the Atman, who is born, who is living, and who is dying, everything is the play of the Paramatman, who incidentally has become the Jivatma, the Paramatma becoming Jivatma, the Jivatma incidentally taking on or wearing a dress or taking on a body, which we call at that point in time as birth or genesis, and then the living or the sustenance, and finally the destruction aspect. But everything of this is happening at the level of the mind. Beyond the level of the mind, which is like ripples on the water, if we go below, or the waves on the ocean, if you go below It is all a calm, deep blue ocean that is there, that is just absolutely stable. It is only the different forms or like the waves that we take birth after birth as one body or another come and do. So all of it is at the level of the mind. There is nothing like, because we were talking in the context of manifest and unmanifest, all of that manifest or unmanifest is at the level of the mind. If we go beyond the mind, who is getting manifested, who is staying unmanifest? It's all the seamless Parabrahman. So from that point of view,
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Auntie, and the Mani Auntie, the line I was referring to was Vishwamanta Prana Vibhuni Mandiramaina Vidi Vakili Edo. So if the entire world is the home of the Lord, where's the door? Where is the
street? Where is the door? Where is the street? Vidhi Vakili.
Yes.
Vidhi means street. Vakili means door.
So there's nothing, nowhere to go. So it is like the plants, trailing. Okay, when we die, what happens to the ocean? Will the ocean dry up? If the ocean dries up, it has to be in the past part of clouds anyway. But the ocean can never dry up. So it is like that. Everything goes back into the ocean and it'll come back from the ocean and so on.
So, that sentence where Swami is saying Akshara reveals Omkara, and that is why it is called Akshara Parabrahma Yoga. So Swami is saying that through Akshara Maya, Parabrahman is revealed?
Not really.
No?
See,
okay.
He is, I think, because that chapter, the Brahma, the word Brahma Yoga, the Brahma has two adjectives there. One is Akshara, Para. See, for us who may not understand what is Brahma, these two adjectives are given, so we will understand the word Brahma.
Oh.
So that Swami says Akshara, Para, Brahma, Yoga. Yoga also means joining, merging. Uniting.
Arjuna Vacha. The first question was asked by Arjuna. Kim tad Brahma, kim adhyatmam, kim kam purushottam, karma purushottama, adibhutam cha ki proktam adidhaivam kim uchyate. He asks that question. What is Brahma? What is adhyatma? What is karma? What is adibhuta? What is adidhaiva, adiyagna? He is asking those questions. So Krishna is answering those questions. First he solved that Brahman, then I think goes to next Adhyatma. Second point.
Yeah. And then Kalyani, then Swami is explaining Akshara means these are things. Om, Maya, all that is Aksharam. Param is supreme. It's beyond. So I think Para may be referring to the Nirguna aspect, whereas Akshara reveals the Saguna aspect. Is based on whatever Swami has explained, like Maya, Pranava, all of them are falling under the Akshara. Okay, whereas Para is beyond, it's just beyond everything. I think that's the way Swami has explained both.
In the English, it says the last line about Nirvishesha, but is that one in Telugu? It's somewhere later, or it's not in this paragraph?
There is no Nirvivesha here in the Telugu. It's only Saviveshamu. Itti Brahmamanu telusukunna vaade nannu pondunu bhava. He will attain me. Nirvishesha not spoken of here in Telugu. These two here refer to Maya and Pranava.
Yeah, I think it is an explanatory translation. but Swami has not mentioned in the Telugu. Yes, Sister Shivani, you have put up your hand. By mistake or something she has.
Yeah.
Sorry. Just based on the discussion, I don't know if it makes sense. You know how we said at the mind level, yes, there's Maya, there's everything. It has a starting, it has sustenance, it's destroying. But in reality, or who are we? There is no existence. You don't exist. You don't exit from. Where are you exiting from? So what's coming to my mind is, so when we talk liberation, liberate yourself, what are we liberating and who we are liberating from? Like, if what we are discussing, I'm thinking, when we talk, oh, we will merge with, who is merging and who is liberating? I mean, I'm just trying to understand if I'm not deviating from the topic.
I think based on whatever we have discussed, sister, the liberation is from Ajnana.
Okay.
Because that's what Swami has started with that. He says if this ignorance is the one causing all kinds of problems. Okay, so the liberation is from the ignorance. Who is liberated? The separate identifying entity which thinks that it is different. When that liberation comes by way of knowledge from ignorance, liberation from ignorance, then you'll be happy. Oh, I am not separate. I am part of this whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are liberating from the clutches which we have imposed on ourselves through ignorance. Okay.
Yeah.
But
okay.
we are not going to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
Because there's no road, no, it's a prison. There's no door way to go somewhere.
So that separate entity, is that like the Jivatma then that is being liberated?
Yes. It's liberated from its own shackles.
So, but the actual Atma can never be deluded, or it can never be under ignorance. So it is only the Jivatma that thinks that it's in ignorance. And so when you are liberating yourself from ignorance, then that Jivatma essentially like dies, or is no longer.
Its ignorance dies. Its ignorance only dies. It will still continue to be the same. It's like, our little finger one day thought, I am different. And, it was just tying itself into knots. The reality, whatever it thinks, the blood from the body only is flowing into the little finger. One day, the little finger realized, oh, I am actually attached and I am part of this big body. From that day, it is not tying itself into knots. It just goes back to being the little finger it should be. Okay. So, but it's thinking, it's delusion that I am separate, who is going to look after me, all that will go away because it knows I am part of this big body and the nutrition comes from on its own and keeps me alive, even without me doing anything. The little finger can't do much, it can't do anything alone. But it survives only because it's part of the body. So just the confusion or delusion that we are separate and we have to look after ourselves, all that will go away. Then after that, it will just be a little finger. And if it say you do catch this or touch this, means it will do. That's the way we should also live. So we will still be the same. It's not that suddenly something is going to happen to us. But the identification that we are separate will die. Because we will not die, because we will never die. The body which we are wearing may go back to its natural state. Again, we are going back to identification. Which will we die? Who dies? Again, that's only the body. That is not us. So we are Atman and we will always be there. I think that's, I don't know whether I have confused more or not.
No, that makes sense.
Just adding to Anna's thing, I think we discussed this earlier as well. So it's just that the outside air decided to get into a balloon, and then it does whatever it has to be in the party of being the balloon. And when it pops, the air goes back to mixing with the outside environment. So whether it happens to be a yellow balloon or an orange balloon or a red balloon is incidental, because it had to, for that purpose, it had to take on that color or that shape. But at the end, it just goes back to being one with the air outside. And so when that outside air being the Paramatman and the inside air being the Jivatman, that kind of a understanding comes, then we go through life without getting affected that, oh, why am I having this color of my balloon and why not a golden one or some other thing? We just do whatever is meant for that balloon to do at that point in time. And when it pops happily and goes back and merges with the outside air. So that's the kind of thing.
Yeah, actually, it's a very good thing, a good example. See, actually, the air, once the balloon is popped, where did the air go? It may be in the same location, but it's just that it's not covered by the balloon, because that's a reality. If you fill a balloon with water and keep it in the ocean, and you plug a hole, that water actually may be in the same geographical location, but it is not covered or separated by the balloon. That's all is happening. But sometimes even without the balloon popping, if the water realizes, oh, I am water, it is just that there's a temporary cover which is separating me from the ocean. Though I am in the ocean, I will always be in the ocean. And if the balloon, if I'm covered, so be it. If I'm not covered, so be it.
Sai Ram,
yeah.
I don't know. You said that the popped when you pop the balloon, the air comes out, and you said it will be in the same location. Is that what they say? When the jiva gets out, it is always around its body for some time?
See, in Krishna, I think it's maybe not here, maybe later on coming, Auntie. Krishna says, actually it's covered in second chapter. He says, just the way the body goes through different shapes, even at the end, we will also take another form. Actually, without we realizing or not, we need a vehicle to travel. But of course, sometimes new vehicle has come, the people are waiting for the old vehicle. That's what you take an old car, exchange it for a new car. For a little while, you may like to look at the old car and wait. Maybe we'll go and take some photographs with the old car. We don't know. We feel we are a little sad. We may, some people hug, kiss, or do something to the old car. And at some point, they have to get into the new car and come home. Okay. So, even when we are died, depending on the level of attachment, we will stand near the old vehicle and, maybe spend a little bit of time. But some people...
But the new vehicle will be already there.
Of course, we have to get into the new vehicle and travel.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that is what Krishna says. I'm just...
No, that's okay. You had...
Chapter 2. He covers everything, all this.
So,
yes. Yes, Kalyan.
So the body dying is not necessarily the balloon popping. Like it's like the ego sense finally dying. That's when the balloon pops and we become one with Paramatman. Because I guess when the body dies, we're still a Jivatman and we still go to another body.
Because everything in the, see, if maybe I am the only one talking, but see, the thing is, in this world, if, for example, if a body dies, everything goes back to some form. For example, if our body will be eaten by other animals, other, small microorganisms will consume our body.
Mm-hmm.
So that means every part is going into something else. We have eaten some food and that has become part of our body. So where is the Atman sitting means we are just traveling in this body. Actually, we are not attached. We are not stuck in this body. So I think that's why Krishna uses the word, you change your clothes. Death is like, Swami always says, death is the dress of life. Yeah. I think Sai Sathya should have remembered Swami saying, death is the dress of life. Swami says. So actually at death, we are switching clothes. For when we are switching clothes, there may be an intermediate time when we take out the old clothes and wear the new clothes. So there may be some space. But naturally, everyone will wear another piece of cloth. So every thing in this world actually will take on a new vesture. But the vesture may not be a human form. It can be other kinds of forms also. But there will be some vehicle to travel on.
A quick question, sorry. This is my Balbika student asked, and I denied the answer. When we are changing clothes, because we were talking about body and Atma, when we are changing those clothes, the time frame is standard for everybody, and how long that time frame is. That's what they asked me, and I had no answer.
Sister, some people take a long time to change clothes.
Some
people are in and out.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Getting dressed can be a different time frame for different people.
Okay. Okay. Great. Thank you.
Yeah, some people say 2 minutes is enough. Some people say I need half an hour.
Usually men take longer than women. Yeah, thanks.
It's the opposite, actually.
Yeah, and just adding to what Anna was saying earlier as well. So, like, we have heard about the Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, and Anandamaya Kosha. So we've heard about the food sheet, the vital breath, the mind, the intellect, and
the bliss.
The bliss, the final state of bliss. So in that, like, I every day change clothes, but I don't change my skin. The skin is on me. So in that sense, the Atman, while being the bliss sheet, because of our vasanas and everything, I think from birth to birth, it carries it with itself the Vijnanamaya Kosha and the Manomaya Kosha.
It goes with it.
While the Annamaya Kosha is dropped and the body goes back to the elements, the prana is also dropped because we have lost the vital breath for that life. Those two gets dropped, but my attachment, my vasanas continue to stay at the level of the Manomaya Kosha, which I carry forward with me. So though the Jivatma is pure, it still has the other two layers, and once through its sadhana or divine grace, it is able to rid itself of the other two sheets. And that is where whether you call it as mohakshaya or losing of one's ego or giving up that small I feeling, then the complete thing of losing the last two layers also happens, and then the Jivatman realizes that it is nothing but the Paramatman that has had all of this drama going. So till those other two sheets are held with itself, it goes through birth after birth and goes through all that suffering. but it is limited with all of the bondage and attachment that comes with it. But once the last two sheets are also dropped and it is at the level of only Anandamaya, then it doesn't matter even if it takes birth or it stays wherever it is or whatever happens, because at that point you're at a level where it is just one continuum. You no longer is there pain and pleasure or victory or defeat. That what Lord Krishna says, Sukha Dukhe Samay Krutva, Labho Labho Jaya Jaya. So everything becomes equanimous, everything becomes God's play, because I am now one with God, kind of a thing. So that's where the thing of where we spoke earlier also, like that balloon is there, but the popping when it leaves has the smell of the rubber gone away. Has it truly merged with the air, or is it still lingering with that feeling of I-ness, which makes it come back and take another balloon? So is it popping in the true sense, or just popping to take another balloon is the question.
On this context only, in the way the time is sort of spoken, they say 1 year is 1 day in the, in Devaloka, things like that.
And that time, yeah.
They also run through their life. Then the Brahman has, his own lifespan. For 1 day of Brahman is multiple manvantaras. So that means these are different layers, and they also go through their cycle. Even Brahma tells the people, I also die 1 day, like that. But that his time span is much longer. So we also may be going through different sheets, and that change happens whether we are liberated or not, because that is the natural Prakriti is functioning, the cycle of life and death. But we don't have to say we are dying. The body will die. The mental sheath also may die at some point. Maybe we'll wear a new mental sheath. Okay. But I think just the way our clothes, we worn out, we go through many pairs of clothes in our lifetime. But as Sai says, skin remains with us. But that also, over say 70, 80, 90 years, that also goes through its own up and down. Then you have to remove that layer. But as he said, mental sheath will last longer than the physical sheath. So I think that's all part of changing clothes. Yes, Sister Shivani.
Just a practical part of it. So understanding all the concept that there is no end and everything is Brahman. And so my question is, so in that journey of shedding all those sheets, do I lose compassion towards other people? I understood, like in the past we have talked about, when we realize that who we are should not stop you to doing your karma action, because you took a birth, so you have to do some action. You can't just sit back, okay, why do I need to do, because everything is Brahman and all of those. So you have to continue doing your duty, your dharma, as a human being, as an action. So that's given. So, but because I understood the reality, the truth, so do I lose that compassion towards other people?
Good question, sister. Very good question. And so once we realize that we are Brahman, are we losing compassion is the question you're asking.
And because and another question is, then I'm thinking all the reform or all the changes happen in the world because we feel it and we say, no, this is not right. And that's how we bring the change to the world or in the society or in the organization. But as I'm going up in my realization, do I lose that sense? Then who is going to bring that change? Or should I say, oh, nothing is changed. It's at the body level, at mind level. I don't need to worry about it. I don't know if I confuse. I'm just trying to see in the reality until I reach to that level, what is happening with me or what will happen with me.
Good question, sister. So I will turn to the participants if anyone would like to.
I guess we can take Swami as the example. He's Parabrahman himself and he was full of love. So I think probably, you would become the most loving the more realized you are. And Swami also was very active and did a lot of work and started the organization and everything.
Thank you, Kalyani. Anyone else would like to share anything?
Yes, it is. Now, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes. So, from Ramakrishna Paramahansa's life, see, he was doing, like, when he had gone to Arunachala, he had lost the body consciousness and he was lying, and then when he came back, like when they brought him to consciousness, like in the sense, got him outside from where he was in the cave, and then his literally maggots had eaten into his legs, and he took those maggots and put it back into his legs, saying, "Oh, let it continue to have." Means it's like they were feeding on him, and somebody was trying to remove it off, and then he put it back and saying, "It doesn't matter," kind of a thing. That is, of course, the ultimate sense. I'm not talking about where we go, because at that state of being one with the Parabrahman, everything, you're in sync with everything. So anything happening everywhere echoes deeply within you, and you're in complete understanding that one form is just getting transmuted into another form. So in terms of the compassion, like what Sister Kalyani also mentioned, that like what Swami, he was always with the devotees. Even if the devotee had to go through their karma, they went through their karmas, but Bhagawan's presence in their life changed the attitude with which they went through their karmas. So like Swami said, Noppi undi gani badaledu. There is pain, but there is no suffering. So even at that level, when we go, things happen around us. We feel the pain and we work with others to help them out of that pain. But we do not undergo that suffering because we know that everything is the same. The one whom we see undergoing that, or the one who is basically the person who is going through that suffering, or the one who is seeing that suffering, are all the same. So at that level, I would visualize basically what Bhagawan did with his devotees, help them go through that aspect, knowing that he is there. At every time he involved, his building institutions, his all that we talk about Swami's projects and all of that, that was at a very tangible level to show what he has done for humanity. But the purpose of what Bhagawan came was much higher. But this was to say that for us to realize, like Swami says, you use like how Yashoda used the butter and the stick kind of a thing. He draws us with the butter and then he disciplines us with that kind of a thing. So at that level, always the compassion in the ultimate sense, everything is there. But the greatest compassion or the greatest thing is when you help that other person come to your level, in the sense you make them completely self-reliant, completely independent. And that's what Swami did. We, using his grace and effort, we do our karma, knowing fully well that he is there to support us. And so that never stops as one goes into that level. Basically, realizing the Parabrahman does not mean inactivity, but complete 100% activity and complete involvement at every moment. When Swami came to give darshan, he gave 100% of himself to every devotee he looked at. So it means complete activity and not inactivity.
Thank you, Sai Satish. Actually, it's a nice topic, but because we are 4:30 almost, I think we will continue this discussion. Because I think it's an outstanding question. Because I think we should revisit and see what exactly we mean compassion when we think we are compassionate. I think that is the most important thing, because without that, we may mistake certain other emotions as compassion, which is what happened to Arjuna. Arjuna was thinking he had compassion for the Kauravas. Then he saw his kripaya vishtam, it is not the proper understanding of compassion itself. The ultimate compassion, as Sai Satish said, is that the Lord's compassion is these fellows don't even know that they are divine. and his Swami strove just to make that problem go away. And I don't know, he has planted the seeds, and that's a very long-term project. So I think we'll continue this discussion next week. And we'll go to Sister Shivani, thanks for that question.
Thanks to you guys. It feels like 24/7 we should be in this satsang. Thank you.
So we will continue the discussion. And so because that way we will be able to really practice Swami's teachings the way he wants us to practice. And we are beneficiaries, and then everyone also around also will benefit. So that's the whole goal, and Swami will guide us. I will close with Samastaloka for today. Sai Ram. Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you very much, everyone.
Very thank you to all of you. Sai Ram.